Welcome to Totality, a podcast helping you step out of your comfort zone so you can navigate the journey to discovering your true self. Here's your host, author, empowerment coach, and speaker, Sarah Moon.
Hi, my name is Sarah Moon. I'm starting this podcast and I'm so excited. I'm an author. I wrote my first book, and if you get a chance, it's backwards. It's called Journey to Wholeness, Healing the Past, Embracing Change, and Learning to Let Go. It's a fun book. It's kind of like a workbook. You read a short chapter, there's a story so you can relate to it. And at the end of each chapter, there's some questions you get to answer to see how you're doing in those things. So I'm excited for that. The book was just published this month, November of 2023. And I'm also putting out there a coloring book for adults. And by coloring the pages, I drew them. They are doodles, I guess you should say. The doodles, they work on your noodles. So they raise your vibration and help your frequency and your energy. I don't know how to explain this scientifically, but it does work. I've been using it with my clients and have had great success with it. This podcast, it is going to be a podcast that I'm going to be interviewing people, and sometimes I'll do it on my own. But the goal is to inspire people. And you know how sometimes we're chasing the dream and it gets discouraging, and a lot of times we give up on it. And I have done that many times. This book, writing a book has been in the back of the mind for over a decade. But to sit down and write it, that's another story. And then to do the process to get it published and record it, record the audio and do the digital form, that's another process. But I am a firm believer that when we are doing our best and that we are becoming who God created us to be, things fall into place. For me, when I sat down to write the book, it got written in 2 months. And then I had it edited. That took a little bit of time. And then I found somebody that helped me to self-publish it. And she had all the connections. She'll be one of my guests in the podcast. You'll see her, Jen. So you don't need to be the expert on anything to start. Once there's passion behind it, once there is that desire to get it done, things start to happen in your favor. I cannot tell you how cool it is to have that happen. So my hope is I will bring the guests that will help you. And you'll feel empowered to do things that scare you a little bit or a lot of bit. I have an accent, and sometimes I say things in a funny order. I'm originally from Brazil. I've been in the States for 37 years, but here we are, just bear with me. I believe in emotional release. I believe in energy work. I think medicine has its place, but leave it to me. I'm going to try the natural stuff first. And I will bring people that will talk about that stuff here too. I believe in my rocks and crystals. I have my essential oils. I I do energy work. I use my hands. I use my mind to do emotional release. I believe in health, and I do believe that the body becomes symptomatic when our emotions are over the top. You know, I explain to my clients, this never happened to you before. It only happened to me. You bring home a container with leftovers from eating out and you put it in your fridge. And that container somehow gets buried in the back of the fridge. And you completely forget about it until one morning you open that fridge and you know exactly what that container is because you can smell it everywhere, right? And you go looking for it. I know what it looks like. I know what it would taste like, but now it's making the whole place stink. So emotions are the same. A lot of times we try to bury it and we think we succeed. Well, can't bury emotions. You can't dig a hole deep enough in your heart to do that. And when your body has had enough, it's going to start showing symptoms and physical symptoms, disease, because the body is not at ease. So pay attention. There are great books out there that will relate to you. What kind of disease you have, what kind of emotions that you may be dealing or not dealing with that you should. So, check it out. I've been on the road of the school of hard knocks, right? Is that what you call it? Yeah. And I used to like to learn things the hard way. Now I don't fight the program so hard. So I am detached from outcome. I am detached, and you're talking to a former control freak. So the outcome is going to be what it is, and it's not up to me. I can go with it. I can do my best with what I have, with what I know, and with who I am. And then life happens. Sometimes you get dragged into somebody else's storm. Just gonna have to ride it. So things don't have to be just one certain way. There's different of perspective. So your perspective might be different than mine. That doesn't make yours wrong and mine right, or vice versa. We can see things from different points of view. I remember seeing a video in one of the classes that I took, and they got these two people and this huge ball in the middle. And they had one person sitting on one side and the other person sitting in the other side. And the ball had a divider. It had a divide, a little wall in between the people. And the people were told, convince the other person the color that the ball is. Well, one side the ball was black, the other the ball was white. So the person on the black side was saying, yes, this ball is black, and they were trying to explain it and so forth. And the person on the side that was white was trying to convince them that the ball was white. And then after a little bit, they said, change seats. And there we go. So, perspective is important. And we get to honor and respect each other's perspective. We don't have to agree on it, but it is what it is, right? The other example I give to people is send two people into a romantic war movie. Let one be a history buff and let the other be a romantic. Talk to both and you think they went to different movies. Why? Because the history buff is going to be checking facts and history dates and events and all of that. The romantic is going to tell you all about the love story. So I will bring people with different perspectives than mine. I will bring people with different perspectives than yours. Listen up, you may learn something. And if you don't, you know, maybe share with someone else that will. I also am going to, when I do the solo episodes, that will be just me. I might be talking about some of the things that I wrote in my book or some of the things that I use with my clients, and just sharing. You know, I love to learn. I am always learning. I'm always either listening or reading a book or taking a class or learning from a mentor or whatever. I'm always learning, because I think it makes life better. You know, the more we learn, there are things that I use to say I would never change my mind in, and change I did. And I'm much happier because I learned something new that resonated with me, and I applied it, and it made things better for me. I'm not saying that's what you will choose to do, but I'm asking, consider it. You know, have you considered this? Have you considered that? So I ask you to please have an open mind when you listen. Just some food for thought. You know, I like to be challenged. I like to challenge my thoughts, my knowledge, if you will, that I keep adding to it. I try to add something new every day. I just feel like humanity is in such a survival, fearful state. And it's not necessary to live in fear, you know, fearing the unknown. We don't know, so it's going to come either way, right? So why be in fear? Why not just go and do the best you can? There will be no regrets, less regrets than if you didn't do, right? The survival mode, it is so hard to watch, because when you're in survival, you're not happy. You don't have joy. Life is hard. And life is not that hard. And life is actually pretty simple. So consider that, you know, quit surviving and start living. Start looking for the good in people, places, and events. Start looking for the good in yourself, first and foremost. You know, fall in love with yourself. If you haven't loved on yourself, please do. It is important, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't love someone else as much as you're capable of, right? So there's a whole lot of things, you know, forgiveness. When you hold resentment, when you hold anger towards somebody, when you hold whatever it is, hurt, it's like drinking poison and hoping somebody else will die. Sure, the other person will benefit from your forgiveness, but the one that'll benefit the most is yourself. Live in the present, you know, because you can't live from the past. You can't. You can't rewind. You can't make time stop. And you can't relive it. So don't create a fearful future from past experiences. Learn from the past and then move forward. I mean, there's so much good stuff, and I am so excited to share it with you. So I'm going to start with doing 2 episodes a month. so I don't overwhelm myself. And I have some episodes on the shelf waiting, so I don't stress. But the goal is start with 2, and then when I get going, do 1 a week. And then eventually, I also want to do a podcast in Portuguese, because I'm from Brazil and I know peeps in Brazil, and they're pretty cool people. And I would like to do that too. And that one will be 2 a month for sure. That won't be 1 a week, because that would be hard, really hard. I've been through deep depression, like suicidal depression in my 20s, and I had to learn to get out of it and not to go back there again. I had to learn how to find the good in myself, in people, places, and events, because that takes effort, right? It's a choice, and then when you choose it, it takes effort. So I invite you to look for the good in yourself, first and foremost. Get a mirror, and look at your eyeballs and have a conversation with yourself. Tell yourself, I love you, not I love me. Look at your eyeballs and say, I love you. Some people find that hard. Well, if you can't say I love you to yourself, how about I am working on loving you? So there are little steps that will accomplish huge things in your life. And that's what this podcast is going to be about, is to try to inspire you, to empower you to be your best self, and to love, because all we are really is love. And if we would love each other without the resentment, without the judgment, without the expectation, that's another thing, is we get too attached to expectation, right? We expect this result. We expect somebody to do this or that. We expect. Don't expect anything and be pleasantly surprised. So detach from expectation of outcome. You'll be much happier, much less stressed, and you'll be able to enjoy the day and embrace whatever life brings to you. Because when you don't have the expectation, when you don't have the attachment, life starts becoming pretty awesome, because there's no frustration. It didn't go this way. There's no failure. It just happened a different way than what you thought it would, and there's no reason to stress, because you are not trying to make things go one way or the other. You're just doing the best you can as you are. So welcome to my podcast. I hope that you enjoy it. I am sure enjoying putting it together. And I'm looking forward to the great people that I get to talk to and bring them into your life. Again, I'll see you in the doing of great things.
Thank you for listening to Totality. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and share this with someone you know who may also need help navigating their journey. Until next time.